Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon and we're playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd edition and I'm the Dungeon Master this time. Ha! Suck it! I have ascended to the Dungeon Master seat where nobody should ever let me go. And we're here to play The Spite of the Witch King, which is a new mini-series. We've got like 6 episodes that we're going to be doing as we explore the Dark Elves of Naggarond. And these guys are all playing Dark Elves and about to get up to do some really twisted, dark shit together, because what are friends for? So let's get around and meet the cast and the crew. If you could remind ourselves of who you are and introduce your character, who you're going to be playing today as well. We have Cherry Bobom, who's going to be back with us next week. She's not feeling so well this week, but she'll be introducing her character next week. So let's start with Jim Davis. Jim fucking Davison, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, everybody. I am doing great. Glad to be in the player's seat and back with Will as the DM. The last time Will was my DM, my character died while drinking a vampire's blood and screaming a curse against an undying emperor that rules over a benighted world. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what Will has in store for us this season as I play Golzal, the Reaver, who is a corsair, a bit of a peacock, if you're familiar with the term, and a psychotic trophy hunter to boot. So, yeah, I'm ready to swashbuckle and leap on a chandelier. Of course, like this is Dark Elves and Warhammer and shit.
Right. Goes hand in hand. Amazing. We've got Charlie back with us tonight. Charlie, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I still have a bit of a cough, so I'm going to have to like mute myself a lot and try and remember to unmute myself. But I'm going to be playing Darcy, the barber surgeon, which is kind of ominous and a little bit emo, and I kind of like it. I'm trying to think why I've even decided. I pretty much just designed what the character looks like and then started filling in my sheet. So
that's all you need. That's all you need. What does she look like?
She has a pretty nice undercut on one side, which has got a bit of fading on, giving it kind of a look of, I don't know, waves or segments to it. She's got a big full fringe and a giant top knot. She wears a billowy black blouse, which is tucked into black leather trousers, and she has a mask, which is somewhere between a surgeon's mask and a welder's mask, because you never know what you might face when it comes to surgery in Warhammer.
Very true. Well said. And of course, we have Pruitt back with us tonight. Pruitt, how's it going?
It is going great, sir. It is good to be back in the middle of WebDM shoot and having a little break for some gaming, what it's all about. I'm excited to be back with this crew for a nice little delve into depravity and whatever debauchery, whatever other D. Anyway, moving along. And I'll be playing Geiger Grimheart. He's a murderer. He's a killer. It's what he was. It was what he was born to do. Going to be an initiate of. Is it Kryrna? I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of that, but anyway,
let's go with that.
Who cares? So anyway, yes, he is chronicling all of his journeys and adventures in his new book that will be available soon, called The Art of the Kill. And so I can't wait for you to meet Geiger Grimheart.
Amazing. And last but most least, we have Gareth with us tonight. Gareth, how did you get here?
Still, it's 29. Okay, well, I've gone from having Jim Davis as a DM to fucking Will. So how do you think I feel right now?
Wow.
I'm pretty good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with these guys who are all fucking amazing and well above my skill range. But I'm just kind of snuggling in and being along for the ride. I'm going to be playing Ive, who is another whatever Prue said. He is a bit of a nerd, but basically, one, he's based around Johnny Ive, who designs products for Apple, and he's kind of like, imagine Leon. I'm not sure if you've seen that film. Like 20 years ago, Leon must have been a bit of a nerd, and that's kind of what I've based Ive around.
Great.
Leon was a good one.
Yeah.
Bit of a nerd. All right.
I wouldn't say, Leon, if you're listening, please don't kill me. I know you're a film, but...
Leon, if you're listening... All right, so let's get into today's game. But before we do, I remind you guys of a couple of things. We are, of course, sponsored today by FantasyGrounds.com, our virtual tabletop of choice. We're using the Warhammer 2nd Edition Community Pack for free by some user from Fantasy Grounds. Thank you, whoever that was. I didn't care to read your name and note it down. I should have done. Forgive me. But we are using it. It's free. It's awesome. Fantasy Grounds is great. And all the maps, tokens, images, and stuff that I've got prepared. Yes, I have prepared some things for today, as you can see on the screen. Are on fantasygrounds.com. WaylandGames.co.uk is the best place to go get all your Warhammer minis. So if you want some Dark Elf minis, go to their website. 20% off, up to 20% off their retail value over there. And when we hit 20 retweets on this tweet, you guys will win a set of tabletop loot dice. We'll give away a set for free to you guys live there in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, then be sure to subscribe, like, comment. We love reading your comments. And come and join us for a live show. We're here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Encounter Roleplay. And of course, as the Chaos Chorus knows only too well from previous seasons, you guys can donate to affect the game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wilds, magic surges, and worse. So, let's dive into what on earth we're going to be doing today as the Spite of the Witch King begins. Now, the premise for the game, as we'll get into here, is that these guys are all on a black ark, and they're all corsairs or witch elves or whatever the hell. They've been traveling and pirating, and you guys have been out for like 5 years, because traveling around on a boat in the Warhammer world takes a fucking long time. So when you guys go on raids, you really fucking go on raids. And we're going to get up to what you guys have been up to while you've been on that raid. Now, to start things off, there is a biting cold wind upon the Sea of Chill as a dark, insidious black ark cuts its way through the nighttime waters. A thin layer of mist and fog is all that obscures the black ark as you hear the sort of the thin cutting of waves as it slices its way through the water, and of course the quiet, subdued chatter from the crew who are on deck. You guys have been away for 5, 6 years. In truth, you've lost count of how long it's been since you've returned to your homeland. All of you are members of a house who you have built together and are in one way or another a part of this house. And while you've been away, you can only assume that the house has flourished while you've been gone. Although you fear what may have happened, for news is slow to reach the Black Arks as you've been away raiding. Now, the raids that you've been upon have been highly successful in nature. You've been raiding against the hated High Elves of Ulthuan and Teclis. And while it's been a long time, you have returned with booty and plunder, slaves aplenty. The horrors and tortures which you have committed upon these creatures already is but a fraction of what you will give to them, and what their price they will go for when you return home. The camera pans up across the bow of the ship and sees one of our dark elf companions in front of us. Let us introduce Golazal, the Corsair. What does Golazal look like?
Golazal is a dashing corsair with loose, blousy purple silks from the farthest Cathay, and gold trim leather armor, and a long, billowing dragon's cloak that sways behind him. He's near the front and is, lording over a group of the slaves that have been brought on board that are washing the deck or coiling up rope, and is generally just making a nuisance of himself and exercising his natural dark elf superiority. That's where we find him, cutlass at the hip.
Fantastic. And Golazal goes about his bloody and brutal business. As though it is late, there's the skeleton crew, your house, who are still awake at such an hour and still making your final journey back. Because by the time the sun rises, you will be able to see the spires of Nagaron before you and bathe in the glory that is the victory which you have brought for Malekith, the Witch King, and all of your people. And as we see the slaves working hard across the deck, we then see Darcy, our barber surgeon? What's Darcy doing, and where can she be found at this point?
I think Darcy is patrolling the slave pens, just checking on general health and condition, grabbing the jaw and inspecting the teeth. Generally just being a menace, I think, today. She's in a mood. Going back is both good and bad in her mind, and she's taking it out on the slaves and the pens.
Absolutely.
And I think she might be about to cut off a gangrenous finger. Just taking a cleaver from her belt and just leaning it against the bar of the cage and just a swift thwack and just removing that digit.
As deep below decks, Len, we kind of travel through the 3 layers of the Black Ark, and I imagine Darcy is down in the darkest layer where the brig and the torture pens lie, where the exquisite screams of these creatures can be heard. Where next would we find Ive, our initiative Kerner?
I imagine he's up top on the deck. He's like loosely tinkering with his bow, kind of adjusting the stretchiness, feeling for wind pressure, and then it kind of, the camera maybe pulls back a little bit and he's actually, like, his legs are over the side of the boat and he's hanging upside down, like fishing with his bow from the side, kind of just getting his perfect shot right, holding it and spearing a fish with his arrow underneath the water.
And then where would we find Geiger Grimheart?
You would find Geiger Grimheart at the probably maybe in the crow's nest, if there is one, getting the best view, looking out at all the majesty before him, probably with his throwing dagger out, picking his nails, because good hygiene is important. It is Rule 34 in the Art of the Kill, which will be available this fall. So yeah, he's just remembering his travels fondly, all the kills. So glorious. Anyway, but he digresses, and the camera returns to the narrator's control.
Absolutely. And it's with some, it's reminiscent, it's reminiscing, I guess, that most of the party are up to at this point, as coming home after so long away can mean a great deal of things. Now, Nagarond itself is by no means a safe haven for a dark elf, while coming home means that you get to bask in the glory, sell off your slaves, find yourselves in great pleasure. Also, there is a great deal of danger, because there are always other houses who look to assassinate, disrupt, and try and stifle an up-and-coming Druki house. So you're as likely to die on the sea as you are back home, but it's important to note that none of you would have that any other way, because the exact same applies to the rest of you as well. For some of you, it may be the place for your schemes to continue. Long may have been your plans, years in the making, decades in the making, which you seek to rise to power in one way or another. As the croaking and shouting of the cold ones below begin to wake up, that sign is that the morning is coming. And as Golazal and those above the deck of the Black Ark upon which you sail can finally see the imposing and terrifying spires of Nagaron before you, the highest peak of which lies home to your lord and master Malekith, the Witch King. I want to go around and I want to learn a little bit about what coming home means to each of you, and what the role within your house is, whether or not you're a leader or a retainer, a servant, or just someone that they pay to be a bodyguard. So let's start then with Golazal. As you see Nagaron coming home, what's he thinking, and what's his position within the family?
So Golazal is a bit of an outsider in the family. He's an independently, independent dark elf who is more of a mercenary or a sellsword. the closest historical equivalent would be like a yeoman of some kind, or a gentry, just right at the lower ranks of the aristocracy. And he's looking to make a name for himself. It's been a very successful raid, and he's basking in his exploits and hoping that it will get him a more lucrative patron. And so he's looking to perhaps climb up the ladder. We'll see how he has to do it.
Excellent. And then Darcy, deep below the decks, you don't see Nagaron, but you can hear the cold ones waking up, which surely means that they can smell the fresh blood from the slave pens and torture pits within the city, and they must be close.
I definitely use this opportunity to cauterize that wound. Probably take some sort of small torch and light it from the lantern that's swinging up on the bow, and just straight to that wound and just hold it there until I'm satisfied. And Darcy is not so much looking forward to the return because she is an illegitimate heir in the family who is politically somewhat of a threat if there were to be a rising around her, but also insignificant enough that she can be sent away on the Black Ark. So she definitely has mixed feelings about the return.
Okay. And then Ive, how do you feel about coming home?
So Ive within the house is kind of he's one of his grandfathers was maybe did a great deed for the house, or did enough where that man he was promised that his sons would be looked after, and it's just far enough where this is a long time ago, where he is the son of the son, where perhaps maybe that name, the power of it is wearing off a little bit, but he's still kind of in good regard of the house and being looked after. And he's not fussed. He doesn't get the hierarchy, and he maybe misses some of the social cues and stuff that he probably should have. So out here he kind of felt part of something, and like he could understand the world a little bit better, and he could study a little bit better. But there's a bit of trepidation about coming home and coming back to all the hubbub.
Okay. And so then Geiger, your own feelings.
Geiger, he's did you ask for a description as well?
We can do some descriptions here as well.
Oh, okay. Well, Geiger, he's about 6'1", 170. He's lithe, but he's got a strength about him, and he generally wears pretty muted, black leather. He's black leather armor, nice cloak, nothing too brash, because that's all in his personality. He makes up for any kind of lack of accessory, and so he's excited because he has a list of exploits. He's got a first draft ready. He's ready to go see an editor because he's in the house like they have their like pedigree like soldiers, the best of the best. And he's like a son. He's like he's like, oh, the Grimhearts. Oh, they supply a good line of soldiers in the past, and so they sent him off to this initiate thing, and of course he had to kill a lot of people. And so he's glad to be back from his first reaving out in the world since becoming an initiate, and he's known Ivel a bit from that. They maybe are kill broodmates. I don't know, but right. He's good to get back and like to list his deeds, because he sees that as the way to get out of this rat race. Because unlike Ivel, he does know the hierarchy, and he's learned the names. And because he's a mover and shaker, and he's gonna go places.
Awesome. So it's with a combination of trepidation and the excitement with which their party return, and one of your crew by the name of Vilkalk Grim Reaper. A particularly malevolent and distasteful individual, even by your number, brings to the bow of the ship one of the high elf slaves that you've captured along your journey. And he points out to the spires with a dagger in his hands. See, pitiful creature, this is your fate. You thought we would never return to the spires? Here we are. And he looks to those on deck and kind of grins with the weapon in his hand. What shall we do with him? This high elf is pitiful. Barely worth anything in the auction houses anymore.
I say, give him a dagger and at least give him a good death.
He kind of grins, so as he thrusts the dagger towards the high elf, who can barely sort of like hold the weapon in his hand. Any takers for the fight?
Why give him the honor?
Oh, it's
7.5 yards of rope. Hang him up the end of the rope.
I was really joking. It still won't be a contest. We both know that, Ivel. It's it's more like play, really.
Feed him to the fish. Let the fish have it. Let us make an entrance with blood. Let us summon every creature to the boat. Let's show them what happens.
As he agrees, as he thrusts the dagger and towards the high elf, who's barely able to hold it, he draws the saber and cuts the head off the elf as the blood sprays out across the dark waters, and Vikalk just kicks him off the side into the water, to a great cheer upon those on the deck as well. It's seen as like a sacrificial sort of like gesture. It's like when you pour one out for your homies, except for you're pouring out the blood of a high elf's jugular and spilling it out into the water. But a great applause goes up from the other elves aboard the deck. Now, at this point, the death of the high elf springs you into, some of you into the memory of the time that the ship of the High Elves was first spotted upon the waters. And so we're going to flash back to earlier this year, and the group of you had barely spotted the High Elf vessel coming out from the misty waters of Ulthwan. It was a merchant vessel, but still protected by elves, perfect for raiding, except from they had barely spotted you just moments before, and as a cry went out of a ship being close by, you all awoke to the crunch of wood into wood as their high elf vessel had crashed into the side of your much larger black ark, still sending you flying out from your beds and your cots wherever you were asleep or maybe awake. As the group of you had rushed outside, you had seen your soldiers already locked in deadly saber-to-saber combat with the hated creatures, your far worse cousins, the High Elves. I'm going to share a sheet with you guys here on the Fancy Grounds, and we're going to get off to a bit of an explosive start here as you guys will load up the Black Ark map. Now, it's got 3 levels to it when it does load. The far right level is the one that you want, because that is the top of the ship. And below decks are basically maybe your sleeping quarters, your living arrangements, and that kind of thing. I would like everybody, let's roll some initiative. Let's do it.
Alright.
Let's get this baby started.
Where are we at? We're using standard initiative. I've got a 72.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's...
Oh yeah,
that's
how
Joey
are
White.
we going to
That's a good
I
question.
think, yeah, let's just roll the D10 and add the agility bonus. I think that's how we used to do it in second rate.
Yeah, let's. Okay. In that case, I
But
got a
it's been
16.
Yeah. It'll take us a little while to get back into the swing of the rules. It's been
Yeah.
a while since we played second.
Darcy.
Mr.
Yep.
Darcy.
10 for Geiger.
I also got a 9 with the same bonus as Darcy. But we'll say ladies first.
Yeah, you can go first.
Alright, let me get my...
Ooh,
Back.
Got him! There it is. Sorry, who rolled the highest here?
I got a 16. Golazal.
Okay, yeah. Golazal is
Yeah.
pretty damn fast. And then it was... who got... Yep.
10.
Geiger on the 10, and then Darcy on the 9, and Ive on the 9 as well. Roll the numbers here. Plus 2, and plus... Okay, so these guys are going last. So, everyone see the map okay? Let's load it up.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Let's find you guys some tokens real quick, and we'll post something in here in a moment. Okay, so Golazal, you're the one going first while I load in tokens for you guys. What is it that you want to do? So straight off you see pandemonium on deck. The ships have crashed into one another, and it's not going well because the High Elves seem to have boarded onto your vessel.
Goodness, from such a small vessel. Golazal will leap into action, his magic boots assisting him in some way he does not yet understand, and will draw his saber and find the nearest knot of dark elves and attempt to like rally them and press forward against the hated foe. So whatever the closest big cluster of melee is where he'll go.
Okay. Yeah, there are several small sort of melees that are taking place. Now, you guys know that for your ship, you have like hundreds of Dark Elves on this ship. Like, it's huge. And their vessel is like, you know, it looks like they are trying to buy time for the rest of their vessel to get away. So these High Elves are fighting fairly desperately. I mean, they don't look like they're Ulfuan's finest or anything like that. So feel free to, if you want to make some attack rolls, feel free to go ahead and do so.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to charge, and I'm going to make my attack that way. That gets me, I think, a plus 10 bonus. Or maybe it's something else. But anyway, I got a 33 on a 51. So that is a 2 degrees of success. And yeah, I will certainly do that. And if he's not dodging or parrying, I will do my damage.
He is not. They're locked in combat with these Dark Elves right now. So you've got you actually have the advantage of them being fighting two enemies.
Gotcha. So yeah, as he charges in, as he strikes this High Elf's right arm and using his damage bonus that he gets from my talent hate, the hatred of the Dark Elves, I do 12 damage to this guy with my saber. And can I see sort of their ship? Can I see them like trying to break away from the Black Ark or anything?
Absolutely. You see there's like 20 elves left on this thing, desperately trying to pull themselves away, but their vessel's damaged. They crashed into a Black Ark just in the mist surrounding the island. You know, it's like heavy fog you can barely see. They're trying to pull it away, and there are like boarding lines over to their vessel that you could also traverse.
Okay, I'm going to call out for grapples to be on our side and to not let them get away. And so he'll just call back, throw out the grapples! Man their vessel! Take those hated High Elves and their cargo back to our lands. That kind of thing. Your first mate, Vikalk, the same man who just beheaded the High Elf in current time, sneers and smiles and says, "Grapples at the ready!" And you just hear this volley going out as the Dark Elves are getting themselves ordered. And you see Vikalk, he's just like loading one of his hand crossbows up onto his arm and firing it down into the face of a High Elf while he's doing this, enjoying every moment of bloodshed around him. Okay, Geiger. Yeah, you reach deck, you see your friend Golazal thick into the melee, launching grappling hooks onto the enemy vessel.
Oh! You'll not steal all the glory this day, my friend. Not like last time. And he's going to charge forward drawing his long sword. Buckler is already at the ready, and charge the nearest one of these elves, and see if I can strike him a mighty blow.
Let's have it.
Oh my god!
You're at a +10 because all of these people are counted as being fighting 2 people right now.
Sweet. Well, then I hit.
Amazing.
My ability is 43.
Awesome.
So they're not parrying or dodging?
No, they cannot parry or dodge at this point.
Okie dokie. Oh, I'm getting an error. Hopefully that goes away. Oh, no, still getting the error. So it'll be +5 to whatever I roll. So that's going to be 11 damage to one of these elves.
Both you and Golazol deal rending and destructive wounds onto these lightly armored high elves. Not enough to kill them, but certainly enough to never have them stop bleeding for a very long time indeed. It feels good to thrust the blades across their bodies.
And remember, always twist the blade. It keeps the wound open. Thus the better killing. Found in Chapter 2 of the upcoming Art of the Kill.
Amazing. Let's see, Darcy, you are next on deck, and you immediately take in your surroundings, and there's a twisted smile on your lips as you realize what's happening.
Yes. I would like to take a half action to aim, and load up my longbow, which I'll just pull off my back. And I want to just aim for a high elf that's kind of out of the melee, just, keep them from coming in. The less my people get hit, the less work there is for me to do later.
Absolutely.
So I think next round I get to do the shoots.
Yeah. Okay. And then last to get here is Ive. Ive, what are you doing?
So I imagine Ives running to a similar spot as Darcy with his bow. The whole time he's kind of running up deck, he's kind of speaking into himself like, "We're in 4 knots. Ship." And he looks over and looks how deep it is in the water. About 50. And he pops open a flask of whatever we're drinking on board, the grog or whatever. He pours it all over a bunch of his arrows and starts setting light to them. And just, rather than firing at people, he's firing at their sails. He doesn't want them to go anywhere. He wants to keep them exactly where we've got them. So I'm going to try and torch their sails as much as I can.
Awesome, roll me the attack roll. It's a large target, so I think you get plus 20%.
Okie dokie. I got a 6, which is pretty good. That's like a lot of, 5 levels of success, 6 levels of success.
Yeah, absolutely. As you fire it out, this bolt of flame streaks into their sails, and you're quickly joined as Vikelk, who's sort of up on a bit of rigging, has also noticed what you're doing and clearly likes the idea. Flaming arrows! As another volley is unleashed by your Dark Elf brethren, who are starting to push back the High Elves aboard their ship. That ship is not going anywhere fast. At the very least, you're going to be able to catch up with it and destroy them, even if they do get away immediately. Now, back to the High Elves. They're going to try and assault those of you who are in combat, which right now is Golazal and Geiger. They're looking for... oh wait, let me turn off my GM rolls being invisible to you guys. GM rolls off. Yeah, good. They rolled a 52 on the first one, which is not enough against Golazal, and the second one is a 17 against Geiger, which will hit you.
Oh, well, here's the thing. When an attack is coming, don't let it hit you. Chapter 3, Art of the Kill. And it... Wait, why did it add +5 to that?
Oh,
because I rolled initiative because I'm dumb. Okay, there it is. Zap Brannigan is an inspiration for this character, so I'm channeling that.
Damn.
But you see Geiger, definitely he just turns sideways, and just the swipe just misses him completely.
Yeah,
Pitiful as it was.
Bastardization of your language, he cries out in Elven in fury and desperation, tears streaking down this creature's face as he struggles to take to buy his fleeing companions any time and strike a blow against his hated enemies. It is the top of round 2, and Golazal, it is your turn.
All right. Is there still a group of?
You're still in combat with. Yeah. So they're still trying to get away. Their flames are on sale, and dark elves are jumping over with their grappling hooks to go and slay them. It strikes you that they are getting the glory of killing the captain. But you are currently locked in combat with one of the high elves.
I don't believe in leaving unfinished business behind, and so I will go an all-out attack using both of my attacks against this one. Hopefully, this will bring him down. So here we go. First attack. That's going to be a. That's actually going to miss the first attack.
The plus 10, I think, from being
plus 10
surrounded.
We'll get it, yeah.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, plus 10 we get it. So that is just a near hit at location 95, which is going to be left leg. And
That is going to be a critical hit roll.
Ooh, nice.
No matter what you do, yeah.
All right. In that case, I would have done 4 damage. And I can roll the crit in just a second. And then second hit is location 90, so right leg. And that is a further 8 damage. So let me get the first crit.
Also, there's a dice giveaway there in chat for you guys. Exclamation point Luke to join.
Sweet. First crit is a 72.
And that was to the left leg, I believe.
Yep.
Actually, it doesn't matter which leg.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Both legs got crits.
Oh,
and
boy.
then 92 for the second one.
You turn its leg into a bloody ruin.
Goldzell had the
both
high
legs.
ground.
Yeah. Blood loss is such that a victim has a 20% chance of dying each round. Uses sudden death rules for any further critical hits. So you describe to us how you destroyed both of his legs and killed this creature.
So Goldzal, seeing all of these other of his companions jumping over the side and seeking the glory of bringing back the captain, sort of like dodges under this one's legs, swirling his saber around and leaving a ruined mess of a high elf behind him as he slides over the ship and drops down onto the elf vessel.
Awesome. He
He has a
dies of
swashbuckler talent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He dies of a scream upon his lips. Geiger, do you want to move?
Do I still have the one
sorry,
on
not
me?
Geiger. Sorry, I'm getting confused between both G names. Golazal.
Oh, the move would be him moving like over the edge down to the elf vessel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. So Geiger, you still have one elf that you're locked in combat with, but he's very close to death.
Yes. Let's just go ahead and finish this this creature off. I hate to see things flounder. You know what? This is important. So he's going to use Fate Point to reroll that.
I like it.
Or Fortune Point, excuse me.
Fortune point, yeah.
And with a 57, I still miss with a plus 10%.
Ah,
So,
dang.
You wretched. I'm gonna edit this out of the book.
The high elves in their arrogance, he smirks at you with glee as he knows that you can't penetrate his defenses. Makes you hate him all the more. And Darcy, you have taken aim. What would you like to fire at?
Yeah, I'd like to fire at one of the ones at the back.
Nice.
So I've got too many things open on my screen right now. I can't actually see the battle map. But that's what I'm going to do. And I've taken aim, so I get a plus 10
Yeah.
on my combat. So I can't remember how to do that. I'll just roll it and add 10. No, that would be a fail.
Dang.
I think maybe where the combat's going on, maybe the boat rocks and just... There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Absolutely. You fire off into the melee. It doesn't strike home, unfortunately, but it's... but no one notices. That's a good thing. Is there anything else you'd like to do? I think you still have a half action.
For a half action, is there some sort of crate or something on deck that I could get up on to get a better angle, maybe? Kind of move away from any melee that's coming towards me. But look as if I'm, actually advancing my position.
Absolutely, yeah. You jump up onto some of the barrels and crates to get a better position and a better line of sight. And now, the High Elves having been pushed back as far as they are, it's basically just the other ship that you're looking to get to now. And you can see the High Elf Captain Resplendent in shining armor seems to be defending himself against your Dark Elf brethren. He's cut several down already as they try to make good their getaway. Ive, it is your turn.
So is this High Elf on our ship or their ship?
He is on their ship, the captain, yeah.
Would I be able to, so Ive is kind of calculating in his head, he's looking at all the kind of variables as he goes. He wants to leap off the side of our boat and directly land on top of one. So I'll get to the biggest looking threat, the most impressive looking High Elf that I can, but he's kind of, he looks it up, he kind of identifies the wind speed, 12 yards across, 4 yards down. And then he just leaps out, pulling out his dagger as he goes, and I'm going to try and stab one of them as I land on them.
Absolutely, go ahead and do so.
Oh, that's an 83. Do you want athletics if I'm leaping as well? Do you want to check for that?
We're in flashback cinematic mode, so you guys can play some shit. You dive off onto the enemy ship, trying to cut the throat of the High Elf captain, but he swerves, turns just at the last minute, turns away your blade in an equally incredible athletic feat. And as you tumble down onto the deck, rolling with it, he strides towards you as this hated creature. I will slay you! And he moves in to attack you. He gets 2 attacks on his turn against Ive. He rolled a 43, which is a hit, and a 19, which is also a hit. So, do you have any dodges or parrying that you can do?
I've got a dodge blow, but am I prone, or am I able to dodge?
You've rolled with it, so you're standing up, so you could make the dodge blow.
Okay, I'll try to. Oh, I got an 81. That's terrible.
Yeah. Okay. So his blade comes in twice into you. Oh, that's an Ulrich's Fury, baby!
Oh.
There it is!
Cain has blessed us.
We're back to it today. And that is 20. And the second is 12. This High Elf is... you may need to burn a fate point here to survive. And let me know if there are critical hits that need to be rolled here, actually, Gareth.
Yeah, well, I have 12 wounds. And certainly,
excellent.
When I went to school, I think 24 is that? Oh no, 22 is more than 12.
Yep.
If I think.
So we got 1 critical hit to roll. Actually, just gonna roll a D10 to one of the books for now. Until I load up that
It'd be
page.
but
There
a
you go.
scratch, Ive.
Yes.
Okay, and that was the roll was a 19, which turns to a 91. Which location is 91 again?
Left leg.
Oh, that's the left
Leg. Yeah.
All these leg wounds.
Oh, there's so many leg wounds.
Long, graceful elf
This is
legs.
why pirates have peg legs.
Yeah.
Your live, lustrous, beautiful legs, which just so agilely made you jump from one ship to another, is about to be turned into a bloody ruin, Ive. Now, because this is flashback mode, you can burn the fate point here, or it can be a character thing that Ive has, just a ruined leg.
I don't want to be crippled so early. I'll burn a fate point there.
Okay.
Darcy actually has a talent which could maybe fix his leg. Just FYI.
No, I don't want a fucked up leg. Oh, I want long, beautiful, lustrous legs. You did it.
Yeah.
You sold me. You can't take them away from me now.
The High Elf saber slices through your leg and almost nicks the artery and almost severs all the way through, which would undoubtedly be the death of you. However, you manage to wrest it away, some of your armor saving your life. You're close to death, certainly, but this blow won't kill you. And now it is a turn for round 3, and Golazol, what would you like to do?
Seeing Ive get dispatched, Golazol's like, brother, we cannot have this. And he is... Geiger, are you still up on deck? Are you still
yes.
in Black Ark?
Yes, this one is being petulant, we'll say.
Yes, and I think if I can, I'm going to bring up my crossbow and just start shooting at this captain, because Golazol is all about results, right? If it's a crossbow bolt or a barbed whip or a cutlass, I'm going to bring this guy in. And so he's going to start attacking the captain. Not going for killing blows, but trying to just distract him, take him down, and then get him. So we'll see, hopefully. All right. First attack with my repeater is 40.
That's going to do it.
So that's one hit, and then a 23 for the second one.
Yikes, yep.
Got minimum damage. 3 damage for the first one, so a nick, I guess. And then 7 for the second one there.
Nice. 2 bolts fly into him, and he curses. His armor seems to soak up the first. Well, the second definitely hurts him a little more. He curses and looks to find the shooter of it, and turns, locks eyes of you.
I give him an anime smile.
Naturally. Both your eyes suddenly sort of squint at one another. There's super close-ups. Geiger, it is your turn.
All right, this is enough of this horseplay. And he's going to take another swipe and dispatch this elf and join the glory that is below. Because that's where the real action is. And so, yeah, that's a 29. It's going to be about 3 degrees of success.
That'll do it.
Unless he's going to dodge it.
He does not have that ability, unfortunately.
Oh, well then. Okay.
It's going to be bad news for him.
Come on. Ugh. 6 damage.
Okay. It's certainly, as you sort of lock blades, you certainly get in a good cut in on him, but he's not dead.
To the left leg. He's looking over the rail like, legs, huh? He slashes.
How do you like it? Yeah. Curses at you. All right, that takes us to Darcy's turn then.
I would
and I'm
be
going to take
firing...
the parrying
go
stance.
ahead.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I was just going to say I'm going to take the parrying stance with my other half action. Sorry.
Cool.
I think I would be firing into melee if I now try and take a shot at the captain, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, can I... Is there anyone, another high elf or anything I can see coming in to help the captain? Because that's
Absolutely,
the dude I
you
wanna
see
take out.
you see his first mate rushing to his side.
So yeah, half action aim,
Captain!
and then I'm going to standard action attack.
I like it.
And that will hit.
That'll do
By...
it.
Wait, I want a plus 10. I think that's 1 degree of success.
Okay.
I can't remember what difference that makes anymore. But...
I don't know if I don't actually know if the degrees of success matter so much in combat as they do in 4th edition.
Wow, 2 damage.
oh,
Good job.
It's
Darcy.
only when rolling opposed that they really matter.
Right, that they really
Okay.
matter, yeah. God, this is nice.
74. That's a body
Great.
shot.
Yep, okay. You shoot him, but the armor, the arrow sticks in, but you can tell it hasn't gone deep into his chest or sternum. He barely seems to register the blow is in the blood rush of combat. Ive, you are next to death with a high elf captain set to murder you.
I was just kind of on the floor cursing to myself. Keep from sails adjusted wind. Remember. And then he'll kind of pull out another blade from his side and attempt to kind of slash up at the groin of this elf. So let's do this. Come
I
on.
swear to all that is holy that I will slay you.
That's hits.
Yep, that's gonna do it. Right in the nads.
6 points of groinal damage.
Oh, roll me
that's
a
right leg.
critical. Roll me a critical hit on the right leg.
Get him.
Take out the
We're
legs,
the-
lads.
Yeah, we're Cobra Kai. Sweep the leg, Gareth.
Sweep the legs.
We'll just do this. That's going to be a 2.
Yeah, that's also good.
I think we should all have Cobra tattoos, like, on our necks or something.
Wait, is low good or is low? I thought low's good again, right?
I'm
Lowe's
trying to
good
find a
again.
critical hit
Lowe's should
table.
be worse. You should wear a gem.
Oh,
so you
yeah,
have
yeah.
a sexy table.
I don't have mine with me. We could find it.
Yeah, it's. I've got it.
I know where it is. but yeah.
No, that's apparently not the one I had earlier. Damn it. Expanded critical hits, that's the one.
Yeah.
Main shots and the. Sure, let's use this one. That was the leg.
Again?
Okay, describe to me how you murder this man in the nads.
I imagine I get at the B and then cut all the way back down to the P and then just offal starts flowing out of the hole and kind of like hitting the deck. And I imagine that, and then I like cool guys don't look at offal, so I turn away and start looking at the next one.
That
Amazing.
has to be a
wanna throw up.
tagline in Geiger's book. Cool guys don't look at awful.
Why'd you have to go and kill him? We could have enslaved him and brought him back to Nagarond and... what a waste.
He dies of a squeal.
What
Though
a
his
waste.
first mate's still alive. He locks blades of Golazal, the last remaining high elf, and he misses.
Oh,
Okay, so he locks blades with you. I will have vengeance! Golazal.
stop being so dramatic. Give in to your fate. And it will be more pleasant for you. And he's going to... he's not trying to kill him. He's going to, disarm him or try to fake him out somehow. He wants to frustrate and confuse him, because if he's surrounded, then we'll just bag and tag him.
Yeah.
But let's see how it goes. First attack, if he's surrounded, I hit. Otherwise, it is barely a miss. And,
I don't think he counts as surrounded, unfortunately.
Okay, so my first attack just barely misses him, and then my second one gets 1 degree to hit. And so,
You villain!
yeah, that's location. Ooh, that's a headshot, 14. And maybe, let's see,
He screams.
Gotta stay on brand, man.
8 damage. As I just ring his bell with the.
Yeah, if you
saber.
want to knock him out, that would be enough to take him down.
Yeah. If I can, I would prefer for him not to die.
Yeah. Yeah,
Darcy, where
as
are
he's-
you?
Yeah, no, as he's fighting you, he's like, protect, and then you slam him out, and he's down on the ground. The rest of the Dark Elves, with your, the sort of captain of the ship, sort of in command of the rest of the troops, Viscalc, with his Sea Dragon cloak, jumps down and says, enslave the rest of them! And very shortly, combat itself has ceased, as there are only whimpering and pitiful high elves left who have been captured upon you and taken to your Black Ark.
Haha. It's the reason why I didn't kill this one up here. More slaves.
However, that being said, Ive, you are grievously wounded at this point, and as as people are picking one another up, those who are close to death, common practice may very well be to actually finish off a Dark Elf who can't walk or can't make it out of combat because you're just no good to them. So Vikalk will sort of finish his bloody work with one of his former sailors and drag his saber up towards Ive and look to Golazar. What shall we do with this one?
Well, I like Ive's determination and ferocity, even if he doesn't have a sense of the price of things. So, perhaps giving him to Darcy. He is blessed of Kierna as well. Bad luck to slay a priest.
Yeah, he sneers. He's clearly still hungry for blood as he throws away a saber. Prit, you're muted.
He was my initiate broodmate. He's a good one to keep around. Maybe just slipped in the blood.
And then I will say, I need not pity. I stand. And can I try and, can I have a check to kind of just openly stand up and try and bluff off this injury? Yeah. 18.
There it is. It's like the most horrifically painful thing that you've done, but Dark Elves are quite masochistic. So part of your sex stuff is basically just BDSM and like cutting yourself up. It's gothy as fuck. And super explicit and uncomfortable. But so this is not an entirely uncomfortable thing for a Dark Elf to go through extreme pain. There's pleasure in that pain.
I imagine I kind of walk by grimacing, and the people that look at the leg, you can see bone. This does not look like a man should be anywhere near walking through this leg, but it's just out of trying to show that I'm not a dead horse that I kind of just stand up and walk back on the ship. I'll be on board. I'll be fine.
And
that's a tough one.
Vikalk will look to Darcy. Perhaps your administration would be best fit for this one.
As you wish, Captain. And she'll follow him down, and as we kind of reach the hatch that will go down into the ship, she is really tempted to push him because she knows this leg is screwed and he's only going to be making it worse by walking on it.
Can I make a check to see whether I sense that she might do that?
It's like an insight, right? So, I forget what it is in this game. It's the equivalent of psychology. Look at the skill sheet again.
Yeah. Good.
It is...
Evaluate?
Evaluate? Nah.
I think evaluate is an
more
object.
Objects, yeah.
It may be actually... Is it lumped under perception? Yeah,
it's kind of lumped into perception, yeah.
Yeah, so many games, so many skill
I
sets.
got an 18, so as she's thinking about her, can I just tap her on the inside of the thigh with the dagger just to show that would be a very wrong idea? I know what she's thinking. Let us get on with this. There's no time for such thoughts.
It seems to me you have some questionable thoughts yourself. And instead of pushing
18
him...
stitches needed very quickly.
Instead of pushing him, she'll give him a supportive arm and get him down into her little room, which is little more than a wooden table in the middle, and just blood stains and a bucket in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Lay down, let me have a look then. And I'm going to roll a heal check. And because you're heavily wounded and I have talent surgery, if I can heal you for 1, I can heal you for 2.
Oh, jump.
That works.
Yeah, that's the best you could have done.
And also, just so you know, if you are actually at risk of losing that leg, I give you a plus 20% bonus to your toughness to resist losing it. Don't you worry, Ayus. I'll have you dancing again. She's got a little bone needle that she's sewing this. I imagine it's like a fishing wire. It's really strong wire to really get the flesh and muscle back together, having reset the bone with a little crunch.
I've kind of, in the last few moments of kind of consciousness he's got before he knows he's going to pass out, they'll come, they'll want to end the week. Don't let them. And there'll be a tiny squeeze on the hand and he'll kind of fall unconscious with the pain.
there be strange things in these waters. And she like just is really disconcerted by what was just said, but carries on with her business as best she can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few hours later, Vikalk, who is to say a menace aboard the ship for pretty much everyone, he's just an utter piece of work. He has an addiction to bloodletting, which Darcy maybe encourages or lets happen, or maybe is against. But either way, he will stalk his way down below decks and enter into your surgery shop, let's call it, and look distastefully down at Ive, who is unconscious. Well, is he going to live?
Of course he'll live.
But he'll be...
He might not live well.
crippled. Barely even
That's how
worth
little
it.
you think of my handiwork. You think I leave cripples? If he were gonna be crippled, I'd have killed him myself.
Fine. Let us see how he fares back in Nagaron.
Are the pens filled?
Aye, they are.
Then I'll be down to have a look and price them up for you.
Very well. And Vikalk stalks back out of the room without what it was that he came to get. And so we flash back to our current time as the group of you are now back aboard the deck of the Black Ark. The high elf first mate's just slain by Vikalk, the same one who tried to defend his captain, and Golosal tried to save. His blood pouring out into the dark waters of the Sea of Chill, and you see the spires of Nagaron before you. And now at this point, you can hear the busyness of the trade upon the decks of and the ports of Nagaron itself, as there are ships coming and going, the kind of shouts and cries of dockhand workers, the lumbering of vessels entering into the sea for the first time, and the scrubbing of barnacles from the great dark vessels. And Vikalk sees the ship, the Black Ark, back into its home, and is quickly let back in. And the long and busy work of unloading your plunder and your slaves begins to take place, which is going to take the next couple of hours. And as you land back on firm land for the first time in about 5 years, Vikalk says, "Well, it's been a pleasure with all of you. I suppose you'll be needing to check back in with your house matron. Do send her my regards."
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. And Geiger turns on heel.
He looks towards Ive hungrily. "Do stop in sometime."
I won't forget the words you said. And he'll kind of storm back off, thinking that means...
See that you don't.
I never forget
And
a face.
he is Geiger Gons. He reached out to Golozol for a handshake. Perhaps you're almost like Corsair in nature, so you're used to traveling with equally as bloodthirsty individuals as Vikalk, and he's not all bad. It's been a pleasure working with you, Golozol. If ever you were to return on a journey, then I would be welcome. You'll be welcome in my crew.
That is an honor, and should the need arise in me to reeve once more, it would be fine sailing under your command.
Of course.
And he sort of like
Be careful.
bows out his cloak and backs up from him.
He bows the sea dragon cloak as well. Be careful! Nagaron is not safe.
And Golazal turns and takes in the sights. This is his first time in Nagaron, in the big city, and so he just sort of drinks it all in, and looks as his share of the captives are disembarked from the ship.
Absolutely. It looks, I mean, Dark Elf architecture is a very sort of Mordor-like in nature. Huge, dark, black spires of obsidian. The smells of blood just permeates this entire city as slave pens, torture pits, pleasure chambers of flesh and blood permeates their way throughout the entire city. There are traders going to and fro, reavers, corsairs, nobles upon cold ones, and ever the Black Guard of Nagaron, silent, terrifying in nature, making their patrols around the city in huge forces. Now, the home of Nagaron is home to armies aplenty. Each house would have their own sort of personal sort of militia force and private army. And your house is House Shade Arrow. Now, you may be either a member of the house by blood, or as we mentioned before, you're like retainers on command. So a split of your share that you're going to sell from the auction houses and torture pits go towards the house. And the head of this house is a woman named Sesosa Shade Arrow. And Sesosa is spelled like that, so many S's. She is someone that's come to power through assassination and duplicity. You've been away for 5 years, so you don't know exactly how things are going, but she is not someone that you would like to cross. These people are wealthy enough to have the beck and call of assassins at their side, and most likely they have poisoners and bodyguards, and Shade Arrow has its own private army as well. So you guys are, as retainers, not nobles yourselves, but certainly entitled to a whole lot more wealth and splendor than your average sort of bodyguard elf. You know where House Shade Arrow lies, or at least where it used to lie at the very least. And so checking in with House Shade Arrow is something that you would have to do to give you a report after a certain time. But there's also plenty that you could do within the city itself. Is that if there's anywhere you'd like to visit, the city has the Dark Elf equivalent of every place imaginable. So taverns, there are Dark Elf taverns, armorers, the gym, the Dark Elf gym, super spiky lift, weights and stuff all around here.
Is the Shade Arrow are there holdings somewhere nearby, or would we have to travel somewhere to get to them?
They would be fairly close. And as you guys get out and sort of take a look around, you see a clearly someone of noble birth who is riding a cold one. He has a retinue of 5 other cold one riders with him as well. All have looked like they've been on a hunt recently. They carry with them the severed heads of humans and high elves alike, and they stop as they see you guys loading off. You don't recognize this lord, but he looks at you, the group of you, and says, "Who goes there? Are you from the Black Ark of Vikalk?"
We are recently put into port with a full cargo hold.
Yes.
My congratulations to you.
Much appreciated. Who do we have the honor of speaking with?
You have the honor of speaking with Sivin Fellhand. The name I recognize. It doesn't strike you as one that you recognize, at least not at first, but the last name, Fellhand, does. Rival house to Shade Arrow.
Gotcha. Now, forgive us. We've been at sea for quite some time, reaving, and are not up to date on all of the politics of the city. Who are Shade? Sivin, you said?
Sivin Fellhand. If I am to recall correctly, this Black Ark left 5 years ago on command of Sesosa Shade Arrow.
Indeed.
So you're all Shade Arrows yourselves. Let me welcome you back to the city.
At this moment, I think Darcy's
fight in
going
his
to
eyes.
little bit of malice and blood there. He doesn't look like he's about to draw a sword. It's that sort of thing where fighting in the streets isn't allowed by the Black Guard, but assassinations are fine. You know, it's cool as long as you kill someone where no one else is going to see.
Just don't get caught.
I think at this moment, Darcy's catching up, and she's actually wearing her mask today. So she kind of stands there with this full face visor, which is kind of ornately embossed with kind of almost like demon features, but not quite demon because that would be heresy, and that's not so good. But it's just a menacing. I think maybe it's more like a really stark, like elven brow that's been kind of shaped in and ornate, sharp features.
The witch elves of Cain and the brides of Cain are like one step away from just outright being chaos worshippers. They just don't really realize that it's the same sort of origin, I guess. So it's like pretty chaotic what you guys are up to. You live right next to the Chaos Wastes. So yeah, a little bit demon-y is probably just like kind of chic to the Dark Elves. But Sivan Fellhand says, perhaps if you were interested in further work, you would stop by our mansion. We have a spire not far from here. You would all be welcome guests.
I'm sure we would. We'll take you up on that maybe some other time. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Life's short. Live hard. But we have to get back to Our Lady. It's time to check in with the
Yes.
the Shade.
Send my regards to Matron Shade Arrow. And he and his Cold One riders growl, grunt, and leave off in a flurry of feet and muscle.
I don't like that guy.
No, but perhaps his boldness suggests a change since we've been here. Should be on guard.
What change?
Something finally veiled. Keeping something from us all.
Yeah, what's that now?
He speaks in riddles like he knows something. Like he keeps his cards to his chest.
It's true. Yes.
Rich boys like to find power where they can get it. He was a boy, right? But he was a slightly younger.
He was a yeah. I mean, you guys lived for a long time, but just by looking at him, he's a younger dark elf, arrogant and but probably powerful.
Okay.
We should all be calculated and watch our backs. I've seen those before.
Sound advice. Shall we be off and see what Our Lady is up to?
I think so. I'm itching to avail myself of some of the pleasures of the city, but business first.
Yes.
Okay. So
Shade Arrow House.
yeah, while Vikalk is selling off your slaves, and he'll give you guys a cut, which will be like sent to your house shortly. You guys are, like super rich now. You go away for 5 years and you have a successful raid. There is nothing without, that you could not spend money on, basically, to have. And that's pretty damn cool. Of course, some things can't be bought. They have to be stolen or killed for, but there you go. You're right back at the Shades Arrow household, this large spire, which looks like it has seen better days. The obsidian walls seem sort of chipped and faded, and it looks as though the retainers on guard are fewer than last you were here. There were only before there was basically a whole an army here, and now there are far fewer, nothing more than a small sort of bodyguard force. You do recognize the master at arms, though. His name is Corzel. Corzel is a particularly heavy sort of set dark elf compared to the rest of your kin, who are usually light and slim. This guy's a bit of a bruiser, and he carries a double-handed flail that he uses to deadly effect. Despite his heavier set appearance, he is, like all dark elves, incredibly attractive, and has a sort of an allure to him that humankind could not hope to emulate. He and his guard sort of recognize you as you guys come over. Ah, friends, it has been so long since last we drew blades and blood together. Welcome home. He does his customary bow.
Greetings, Corzel. Where is everyone? Out for a hunt, perhaps?
Alas, much has changed since last you were here.
Oh,
There
that
are
gets
fewer.
a knowing look between me and several of the party members.
Well, do tell. Do tell.
It is not my place to speak out of turn from my lady, but it is clear to all here that our enemies have made several great blows against us. Our forces are far fewer than they were before. Our riches are far less. Your return, however, heralds a rebirth of our family fortunes, I'm sure.
Well, we should speak with Lady Sososa first, yes? Is she about?
Certainly. She is expecting you. News of your arrival has been... And, well, she's been very anxious to see you for a long time now. Please, come inside. I must ask you, of course, to remove all weapons in the presence of her lady.
Oh, of course. Don't like breaking the rules, but don't like breaking the rules, so... And he...
Does everyone willingly hand over weapons?
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah. I think in this case.
Geiger, I was reading that chapter on unarmed combat. I spotted a few spelling mistakes.
Oh, well, you know, I'm better with my hands, so that's why I'm having you edit it. Don't worry, you'll get your 2%. Anyway,
Can I
this
try
whole
and
time Geiger's
sorry?
been
Can I
pulling just
try and
daggers
conceal a
and swords.
dagger or a throwing knife
Sure.
or something?
Yeah, roll me a disguise.
I've got a concealment, if that's any good.
Oh, concealment. Yeah, you're right. Concealment's better.
13. That's like 4 degrees of success. 3 degrees of success.
Yeah, you've got a secret dagger tucked away somewhere that no one else is going to find it. Okay, so you step inside to Lady Sososa Shade Arrow's luxurious house. After traveling through, it's basically a castle in itself, right? I mean, this place is fucking huge. And after walking through its walls along with your counterpart, Corzel, eventually he leads you in through a set of double doors into a fine dining room. It's low lit with sort of low red lights, which are lit around the corners of the room. In the center, there is a banquet table with food and feast, a veritable feast of the most exquisite, exotic foods laid across the table. And at the end of the table lies Lady Sososa Blackheart, perhaps the most beautiful woman that you would ever set your eyes upon. Despite her now gaining in age, she's an older dark elf. She wears fewer clothes than most porn stars because it's dark elf Warhammer, and you know she's she. However, you would know her to be an adept of Cain, a bride of Cain. So she has a sort of like shock of white hair, and you've seen her move with the daggers on her hips far faster than you are comfortable with, even despite her old age. And she smiles as you guys enter in. Welcome back, dear friends. Please, take a seat.
Thank you, my lady. Thanks for having us.
Indeed, your patronage of our voyage was most fortunate.
Indeed. So as you all take seats, help yourselves to wine, food, and tell me, how fared your journey?
This was a full cargo hold that we brought back to the docks, and many fine stories to tell.
Yes, you should tell her remember what you did to that guy's legs. It was quite, it was a deft move, I'll have to say.
Yes, see, my lady, there was a high elf merchant vessel, and you go through the whole thing, and is, it's much more elaborate and embellished in the telling. A great melee erupted between us and the vessel, and all I can say is that the blood was exquisite, and the cries of agony were... You would have loved them.
I know that I would have. If only I could have been there to hear them. Alas, I have been here, dealing with troubles within, aside from your troubles without. I'm sure you have noticed the faded grandeur of our once grand house.
It casts shadows across my heart, my lady.
She smiles at you, and you're always involved in this sort of like overly being nice to her / flirtatious thing. That's sort of how you deal with these very powerful leaders of houses. That's basically how you survive. At least that's how you've learned to survive. And she says, "Certainly, it brings great displeasure to me as well. Those responsible are our enemies within the city. House Fellhand. They have made great moves against us. A series of deadly assassinations. They managed to pull off killing some of our captains, lieutenants. And those that we paid fled after they managed to show their power. Things within the court are not at ease. Indeed, there have been several assassination attempts against my life. I have hosted several guests here who I've invited in. Corzel, of course, checked them for weapons, and yet, she looks at Ive, they decided to hide weapons, seek to murder me, while I gave them food. Of course, you must understand how distressing this is for someone like me, for their trust to be so horribly betrayed. There's nothing worse than betrayal. Wouldn't you say, Ive?
I've kind of smiles back at her. I like to test and probe and answer questions within my head. What does it tell you about your security that I can ask these questions freely? And he'll quite happily kind of reach into his thigh where he'd stash the knife and like start cutting up some food in front of him. Maybe you should ask why people were able to.
Captain Corzel. And Corzel steps out from, like the side room. And she says, "Take one of these whips and flog yourself 100 times." And he takes one of these whips with like it's like a 7-tongued whip. And he takes it, and outside you begin to hear the lashings of Captain Corzel as he flagellates himself for his lady. Now that business is out of the way, perhaps we can talk business. You have as much gold and access to pleasures as one could possibly hope for. And yet power is what we really desire. I have a plan, now that you are back. A plan which I think will do us well. A move against the Fellhand house, which will surely land us with great victory, and once again, great powers. You could not want for gold, so I do not offer you any. Instead, I offer you positions within the court. I offer to take you within my house, as my children. And in so doing, you will become Shade Arrows, and perhaps one day lead this house for yourselves. You are the only competent individuals who I can trust. She looks back at Ive again. So, would you like to hear this plan? Would you like to hear more of my offer? Or would you like to accept right now?
It's intriguing, to say the least. Well, I am curious what you had in mind.
And you've always had my curiosity, my lady, but this offer has my attention. So, would definitely like to hear more.
Are we compromised? We were met by... is it Sivin? Sivin
Fellhand, yes.
Sivin met us on our way from the docks. He knew we were here before most. It seems walls have ears around here.
Indeed. Though your homecoming is an event we have heard about in the city for a while, the ship has been trapped. But perhaps that is not such a bad thing that Sivin Fellhand made known his hand. After all, if you were to befriend him, as my plan entails, then it's all the better to stab him in the back. So much easier when you're standing side by side with a person, is it not? My plan is as follows. To kill every single member of their family. And once we have killed the nobles, then the common folk will follow us rather than them. Their guards and bodyguards are smart after all. Once they realize that their head house members have been killed, they will swiftly turn to ours. And then you will become their lords and captains. Their vast armies and lands will be ours. The head of their house is a particularly cunning and devious woman named Maeva. She must be the first to fall. Sivin Fellhand, her son, must be next. Once the two of them are out of the game, it will be simple for us. Now, I could hire a Canaanite assassin to try and pull this off, but all of them have failed so far. Meaning that you, instead, will be my assassins. What say you?
I'm in. Although, I must say this, it is with a heavy heart. I think in order to pull off this plan, as you have so eloquently and beautifully put it, we must disparage you to young Sivin. And that, I know that you brook no insult, but please know that it is all in cause to a greater end.
I understand. When dealing with creatures such as this, anything goes. First, your task is to win the favor of young Sivin Fellhand, and once you've worked your way inside the house, telling him whatever lies it is you need to tell him, then you will find a way to kill Maver Fellhand. I do not expect this to be a swift process, nor do I demand you to do this swiftly. If it takes a year, if it takes a decade, then so be it. We have the time.
Perhaps, my lady, we should offer them a portion of our earnings. A sign that our allegiances may be changing.
Ah, why, what a very good idea. I had barely considered such an idea. Yes. Perhaps you should offer up a share of your winnings, a pledge of loyalty.
After all, it'll all be returned to us in the end.
Indeed it will. You will be richer beyond your wildest dreams, and more powerful as well. You will no longer be reavers upon the Black Arks, it will be you sending out the Black Arks in your name to win you glory and fame. And I must admit that I am getting older. So when the time comes, why, it'll be up to one of you to decide who will take my place. I have no more legitimate heirs, so welcoming you into my family makes sense. Of course, only the strongest will survive. But that is how it has always been. And a heavy realization sets into you that if this were to be pulled off, then you would all be in direct competition for lord or ladyship of the house, meaning that that generally the way you get to that position is by killing everyone else.
Right.
Darcy's not too worried. She has everyone's medical records.
Right. Pull them.
My lady, I've only ever desired one thing, and that is to sail upon the blood-stained waters of the shores of my enemies. Make me a captain, and you can keep the adoption. I only desire the ship.
It is done. You can take Vikalks when the time comes. You are a worthy successor to him.
It is a shame such a efficient and calculating captain would be an obstacle to us, but we will do what we must.
She joins in the false, pitying sentiment. Indeed, such a worthy captain. Such a shame.
I've kind of Riley smiles. When I was a youngling, my father, there was another elf who would walk these halls with.
It's like the My Chemical Romance version of Warhammer. It's my version of My Chemical. When I was a youngling, my father took me to Nagaron.
I would ask my father why there were men with very similar sets of scars, and he said of a woman who we should never cross, and we should always watch our words with, as her daggers would do the talking. Now, to appear to the fell hands that we have really fallen out of your favor, perhaps I should broach the subject of how old you look. And he kind of smiles, knowing he's gonna get cut.
She says, she rises from the table and slowly begins to slink her way over towards you. In fact, I had already thought of something similar to that, and I agree with you. She draws one of the long, wicked, curved blades. It should look as though you barely escaped with your lives. Don't you agree? She looks at everyone.
Like immediate regret for Ice's face. He like it all made like the equation made sense in his head, but he didn't have any idea what it was gonna actually be like. So he like the blood's kind of drained from his face a little bit, and he's looking at everyone like, how do we stop this? It's gone too far.
I think Darcy is actually reaching up to that top knot in her hair to pull out a poisoned bone needle. The one weapon which she could conceal with very little difficulty.
And she says, a few cuts and wounds should suffice. Please, help yourselves.
Your guard is welcome to attempt to offer a realistic and thorough portrayal as we flee. I'm sure, and Gozel is actually like getting up. If there's like guards around, he's not waiting for the suggestion to be finished. He's leaving.
Right. Yeah. She turns her head and says, why? I had barely thought of that. And guards begin to move towards a group of you two. Make it seem like it's real.
This is how
It's a
it has
brilliant
to be.
plan.
Thank you. I've had a long time to think of it. You see Captain Sibin Philhand, having finished his 100 lashes upon himself, return bloodied and beaten, and sort of begin to order the guards, get them! And, there's some sort of bad acting that's going into this.
Can I stab him?
Yeah, you can attack him if you like.
I don't think Darcy likes him, so yeah. I imagine it's kind of like a knitting needle, but slightly finer, and just gonna stab him in a fleshy part if she can get to one.
He's not actually wearing armor because he's just like he's gone. Yeah, he's like taken off his shirt in order to lash himself like he's in fucking a Dan Brown movie.
I'm sorry, my computer dropped out there for a second. So did the captain of the guard get in trouble because Ilan broke in or snuck in a dagger?
Yeah, so he got in trouble. He had to lash himself 100 times, and so he did. And now Ive is like, we should make it look like there was a fight so that we're obviously not friends with you. And so the guards are moving in to arrest you, and then Darcy just stabs him.
Okay, well that's perfect because Geiger doesn't want to give up his last name. He likes the alliteration. It tracked well for his book. So he wants to be made the new man-at-arms because that is a position for which there's great renown.
Okay, yeah, you could have made that known to her and she would have agreed to that as well. Like, while Sivin was out of the room, she agreed that when this is done, Sivin will be killed and you'll become a new captain of the guard. That's the only way to get a job. Interviews are a really terrifying process in Necron.
Yeah, they're killer.
So whose job am I getting? Mine?
Right.
So the group of you then leave, and it's safe to say that there's a small sort of melee. Maybe there are a few cuts and bruises had on both sides. They're not really trying to kill you. You're hopefully not really trying to kill all of them, although she doesn't care if you kill someone along the way. It's all good. And the group of you sort of leave House Shade Arrow. Hot on your heels is Captain Sivin Philhand, along with a bunch of other guards as well, sort of running you out of the place without really trying to murder you.
Wait, Sivin Fellhand is the captain of the guard? I thought he was the
Sorry, not Sivin Philhand. Too many names.
Okay.
I was like, hang on, isn't that the guy we meant to kill?
Corzel, yeah. And Will, I'm going to say, if I notice that that Darcy struck a little poison blow to him, I might let a dagger fly, like a throwing dagger fly pretty close.
Okay. Noted.
Make it real.
Yeah. Just to make it seem realistic, man.
I feel like Darcy holds a grudge, and she's just been waiting for a chance to stab this guy. Just real convenient.
Yeah.
Were we able to get our gear back?
Yeah, so you've got everything. You've got all your gear, and gold has been delivered to you as well. You've just been run out of the immediate vicinity of like the castle. So the group of you find yourselves back out on the streets of Nagarond with a task from your new mistress.
I imagine as we ran out, we grabbed all of our shit off the welcome table where we'd left it on the way in. Just grab it on
Goodie
the way
bags.
Yeah. And the guards are like, "Oh, hurry up! Come on, hurry up!"
Right. Mistress said we had time on our side, so if you'll forgive me, it's time to enjoy my spoils. And Golzal is about to find the nearest, just whatever S&M flop house that he can find. Whatever they're going to like embed hooks in him and hang him up by the ceiling and tickle him
that's the deal.
or something, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually all they do. There's like loads of hooks involved in hanging you up on ceilings. And, like,
This is what we
tearing
missed out
flesh
on
from
when
you.
we stopped that.
He's just wearing his boots and his
orgy.
cloak, and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah.
So, in a land of fetishes such as these, Geiger has a fetish of his own that is technically a fetish here, and he goes and finds this place he heard about, but he's never been. One of the sailors told him, and it's like a cuddle parlor, and it's where they just go and they just hold each other, and he just goes and he just wants to be the little spoon for a while, and then he joins Golazal later, but he goes and gets that first.
It's like a montage of just like the weirdest hooks and cuddling, and then like Golazal's up on a hook, and then like we pan over and Geiger's on a hook, and you're like waving to each other like, oh hey!
Find that place you were looking for?
Oh yes. It held my attention for a little while. As he's kind of like trying not to show pain as he's being hooked.
Right.
What does Ive
Try
do?
to appear normal.
How do I top? I've got to think of a weird dark elf sex act now. I go to a club where there's a giant with a spoon, and I have to sit on the spoon pretending to be an egg in an egg and spoon race, and that's I'm saying, as a giant just strides along. and York
just
sits
everyone
on
is
the
naked
spoon.
during it. Like,
He just
that's the
sits
only
on
change.
the spoon crying. Yeah, but
Yeah, you think it's a spoon, yeah. All right.
I
Darcy.
ride around the city, side saddle on a high elf, buying clothes
boiled.
for our next venture because shopping is what Darcy would like to do right now. She has been stuck in the same surgeon's gear for a long 5 years, and we're about to go and play in the noble houses. So yeah, she's gonna cruise around on the back of this high elf, and then when he gets tired, she's gonna kick him around a little bit, grab another one, carry on. And as she goes, she wants to sow seeds and whispers that she is buying the wrong colors, maybe. Instead of buying the Shade Arrow colors, she's buying other colors, and it's just going to start sowing strange seeds that the Black Ark that's come in, they're not doing what they're meant to be doing.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and Geiger would be the whole time talking mad shit about how Lady Shade Arrow took too big a cut out of this reaving, and I've had enough, and just that kind of stuff, that kind of talk.
Yeah.
Well, he's switching from big spoon to small spoon, It's like, and I don't think she likes me that much,
And then she has the air of a festering wound or an old ache of some kind of. Smells like we should jump ship. Yes? I think so.
Yes. Well, no, we've all seen what Darcy does to wounds such as those. They're cut off.
They're cut off. You lance them, burn them. And forget about it.
Keep going.
A shame. A real shame. Yes. Oh, yes. And then, higher. There's a... I imagine at some point he's regaling people with tales from the last 5 years.
I'm
They're
now
a
picturing I'm now picturing him like hooked up to the ceiling, but it's kind of like a Superman rig, so he can kind of fly across the room occasionally.
Like Big Lebowski?
And it adds like drama to his story, so he'll be like, "There I was, up in the crow's nest, and I dived down." And just
The salt spray, thick in the air. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think seeding these rumors is a good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
Careful the salt spray here, brother.
everyone is on our, or we are on everyone's lips, rather. So it would be good to let it be known that we are unhappy with our arrangement.
We certainly are.
You know, yes. Excuse me.
Or at least those we paid right now.
Yeah. So okay. So as you guys settle into the rumor spreading and spooning, let's see, Darcy. While you are out traveling and doing your shopping, you're buying sort of clothes. Is that what you were getting?
Yeah, some nice, noble city clothes.
Yeah. So you go to, like, these different like outfitters and the like.
Nice
And
expensive, like
in-
silks and embroidered things, and
Definitely.
maybe some like polished leather, really nice, well oiled and embossed.
Yeah. One of the shop owners sort of comes on over, and it's very similar to, like, can I help you with anything in any kind of clothes store? And this gentleman who's got this sort of like shock of black hair, which is like really kind of spiky and set back. Very tall, very thin, wearing very fine clothes, one befits someone in his job, like as a tailor. Ah, yes, this one is particularly nice. I really love how the spikes on it seem to enhance the size of the wearer. Really quite intimidating, wouldn't you say?
Is this like a giant horned codpiece? I always said that wrong.
For
then.
sure.
Please carry on.
It's all good. That's a Freudian slip. Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, it's like this big old piece of leather that has like spiky codpiece on it, and spiky shoulder pads, and like for some reason it shows nipples. You're not sure how, but it's dark elves, so they find a way.
Can you tailor it for someone about 6'2"?
He looks up at you. I suppose that we could. Yes. It's a special occasion.
For him, maybe.
I see. You're from that Black Ark, aren't you? As he goes and like starts measuring things up. So I'll look you up and down.
I'm not sure that's any of your business now, is it?
Oh, no, of course not. Just idle chit-chat. I really like to, hear what it is people are up to, that kind of thing. You are from the Ark, though.
I'm from the city. I was aboard the Ark.
All right. Yes, no, of course. You wouldn't happen to be, looking for any work, would you?
As she pauses and lets go of like the fabric that she's busy checking out, and turns a little 90 degrees towards him. What kind of work are you selling?
Well, and he sort of leans in conspiratorially. You see, consider it side work, a little job for me. You see, I've lost something that's very, very important to me. An item. My family. Great value. It's an amulet. An amulet of Cain. Suffice it to say, if anyone were to find out that this item had gone missing, they would be rather upset with me. And you see, I was gambling, and well, I was on a hot streak, and then all of a sudden I wasn't. this item has fallen into the wrong hands. I thought someone who's been on the Black Ark might be the kind of person that could find this item for me.
What value would it be in returning it to you if I did find it? Sounds like it may be of more value to me.
I'm sure that's not true. Only those who know how to use it are able to gain its benefits. What is it that you would like? I have some gold, but I also consider myself a purveyor of information. See, a lot of people come here to get their outfits. Very important people as well. Nobles from various different families come in here, and they like to chit-chat with me. I'm a very good listener, you see. Maybe if you could find this item for me, I would be able to tell you some things that you might find useful in the city, you know? Who's who, and who's where, and when are they alone, that kind of thing.
I do enjoy an important outfit. Which gambling house were you enjoying?
House of Exquisite Pleasures is the name. It's a chain of them here in the city. Owned by House Velhan. This is your nose ring. Yes, I know. Awful types. The son comes in here all the time to get new outfits and like. Most unpleasant. Never tips very well. And at that, he sort of like looks towards your coin purse.
And what kind of outfits does he enjoy? And she will bribe him with an appropriate coin.
Yeah. Oh, as he like palms it away. Well, you know, he comes and he goes. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I can tell you he was here only earlier this afternoon, talking about Black Ark that was coming into to port. Told me all about the people who are on it. You were one of them. You know, I rather think... Well, he didn't give details and specifics, of course, but it's kind of had an angle. It struck me as he wanted to have a conversation with all of you. You know, make your deal you couldn't possibly refuse, that kind of thing. Like the deal I'm offering you now for that amulet of Cain that's fell into the wrong hands.
I'll bear it in mind.
Well, I'd rather like a yes or no. You know, find me this amulet, bring it back to me. My name is Wessel Spitebringer. I can make myself very useful to you.
You'll know if it's a yes or a no if the amulet turns up, won't you?
I suppose that I will. I'm just not used to dealing in skullduggery and deception. It doesn't come naturally to me.
Well, you're a fine tourist.
Yes, I am. Flirting with danger on the dark side. Oh, sidebar. That's Geiger Grimheart in his book. He's a particularly handsome-looking fellow. Are the stories about him true?
If you finish tailoring the outfit, you might find out.
Ooh, this is from Mr. Grimheart. And he starts taking what can only be described as an uncomfortable amount of interest in the nipple area.
Yes, I thought the black would match his soul.
Oh, he has a black soul. He is a heartthrob of all the young girls around here.
Boys, girls, what does it make a difference?
No. Yes, well, see, that he knows that it was me, Wessel Spitebringer, that made this for him, tailored it to his size, and if he'd ever like to pay a visit, then I am most amenable.
Why don't you write your name in it somewhere? Make it a little mystery for him.
Oh, darling, I already have.
Delightful. Do not write your name in my clothes.
No, I wouldn't even dream of it. Just give it a good wash before you look inside. Sometimes it'll wash out. All right, well, with amulets, if it comes up, then we'll talk some more. Maybe I have some very interesting information on the Seven-Fell-Hand fellow, and if Mr. Grimheart pays a visit, then cherry on top of the cake.
All right, then. And should anyone be asking my business, what is it that you'll be telling them?
Your business? I have never heard of you. Oh, you came in once, but you're a bit of a dull person. I couldn't really get much out of you, even though I did try, and I don't think you're up to much anyway.
I see your tongue embraces the truth.
Hopelessly single would be my estimation. I tried to put you with some of my friends, but
right now.
no, it's just, you know, these lines, they just don't come to me naturally. I just have to, you know, improvise.
Well, you can rehearse them in your private time.
Yes, absolutely. Takes me back to my days in the theatre.
Of course.
I have a degree in theatre. Does it show?
Doesn't it always?
Well, I'll be seeing you then, Miss Darcy.
And I think she's just gonna take the whether it's done or not and go.
Yeah.
And she'll pick up her high elf from outside and tell him to mosey on. And I think she would probably know roughly where Geiger and everyone else would end up, because she's not stupid, and kind of mosey on down there.
Okay. Okay, so the group of you then rejoin in, let's say, the aftercare room of whatever hooked horror house you guys have all found yourselves in. Various states of blood and clothing. You guys find yourselves in this back room. You know, it's alone, it's private, you got it to yourselves. And Darcy and Ive come in, where you guys have been reminiscing, telling some of your stories about the high seas.
So they put metal armor all over their bodies, right? Like, it's the head and the arms and their groin and everything. But so when you get them on there, get them off the horse, and then they're down in the mud, right? And listen, and he like pulls a weapon out of somewhere in his cloak or something, and it's like a pick, you know? They got this one. It squealed like a pig when I put it in his belly, and it was exquisite, Geiger. I can barely describe it. I wish I was back there. Beautiful.
Remember on the river, the ones that were wearing the metal armor on water, and you pushed one over the edge, and we had to stop the young ones from shooting him. Because it is so much better to watch them gasp for life.
That last bubble is, well, it was poetic. No, more wine, please. You know, he's like VIPing it up, right? Like if they're flush with cash, then
I think Darcy would follow the tray with the wine, having a feeling where it was going, and deliver it herself.
Now's probably a good time, and I've passes both of the boys a square box, and I got you a small token. That's what crews do, right? And like as they open, you remember that.
If you're trying to kill me, Ive, I expect you to do it to my face.
No, you remember that elf that cut my leg?
Oh yes.
Look inside.
Oh, yeah.
I managed to save them from the offal that I cut from him. So inside the box is a gilded testicle from this elf that slayed my leg. And Darcy, and he hands you a slightly longer box. This one's for you. Oh, that one's for later, though.
I've and like a real tear
It's monogrammed.
creeps down Golzal's nose. This is beautiful. I don't know what to tell. Thank you. I didn't get you anything.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
It's something we'll always share. That the crewmates were saying it's something that we do here. So hopefully I've done it okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Which did you keep for yourself?
I'm just sorry that I didn't get you anything in return. I feel like I really dropped the ball.
I'm not sorry. I would not get you anything, but I appreciate the gift.
But I like the thought.
I've just showed you that he's got a weird-looking fleshy ring on, and then he just puts his hand back down.
Oh,
yes,
God.
that was good. So,
I've never ceased to find new depths.
Plum, so, anyone got any idea where to start? I figured he'd probably believe some of the lies already, but we need a good we need a good way to go in.
But not being a person of guile, she said we could take our time. Perhaps the rumors need some time to ferment. Besides, why rush things? And
Yes.
he takes another cup.
Besides, the look of this Sivan fell hand, I mean, to be honest, he looked like a bit of a dandy fop. So surely he rouses about town. We can find him somewhere, right?
Yes, he looks hopelessly single. And Darcy takes a good gulp of the wine.
The projection.
So yes.
That reminds me. And she brings out the large bag in which I imagine she somehow managed to acquire like one outfit for each member of the party. Obviously, the biggest bag being the horned black monstrosity that she just picked up.
Oh.
Hey, he's looking. We're giving gifts now.
No, these
We picked
are,
up that disease in the human lands, but I didn't know we picked up the gift giving.
These are not gifts. They are for work.
Oh, thank you. Tools, then.
Yes, thank you. But really, Golazar, did we miss a meeting? I mean, everybody's getting gifts but us. Oh, you know what? Hang on. And he goes to his bag, and he pulls out 2 copies, and they're final drafts. But he signs both of them and hands each of you the final draft of the Art of the Kill. And yes, please, give it a final look over. But I look to see your notes. Any improvement is improvement all the same.
I don't even know if I can read. I don't think I can. I don't. Maybe
I've takes it and opens a page and just kind of has just a bit of a speculative read, and then he kind of sucks his teeth with disappointment and like shame that he can't verbalize. Right, I'll make sure I have a little look at this. I'll get you some notes.
Thank you.
First draft, yes.
Oh, of course, yes. Final draft, right.
So, are we gonna let him come to us? Are we gonna cause a ruckus?
I think we need to figure out his routine, right? He's our prey. See where he goes, his watering holes. We need to go where he drinks. We need to sow some rumors there, and then have a chance encounter. I think that might be the best way to find him on our side. Maybe pay someone to rough him up, and we could take care of him.
I did hear a few interesting things as I were passing along my own interesting things. And
do tell.
she's gonna explain about the amulet first with the tailor, just as an aside of, oh yeah, that happened too. But most importantly, I think if we have a good enough time by ourselves, he'll find us. A party, perhaps.
Yes. And Geiger's looking in his outfit. He's like, "Oh, this. Did you steal this from him? Why is his name in here? What is?"
Well, I left that bit out, but it seems you sing a siren song.
I mean, I do have a voice that is golden as the throne of man.
He would be a fan of hearing about your work sometime. If you can get a word in edgewise.
I understand. So you want me to kill him?
Maybe just cut out his tongue. I mean,
Okay.
no, I mean, go and see him and tell him about your book and educate him and make him more interesting. In a way that only you can.
Well, I mean, every mind worth killing is a mind worth molding to kill. So I should put that in the book.
Yes, shape it before you break it. I've read too much of your book.
I've gone to the trouble of penning a letter back to
Don't
the
tell
shadow.
me you've caught writing too.
It is a skill I possess. It's to the Shadow Arrows, saying that we feel insulted by the amount they tried to take off us, and we deserve more respect in the house, and we're deeply unhappy and don't intend on returning until our terms are met. We just need to probably get it in hands of someone that's going to break our confidence and show it all around town.
Perhaps if we go to the tailor's and you accidentally leave it on the counter, he has a way of disseminating information.
Yes, perhaps you will need to get a fitting for your pants. You can leave it in there.
I only have one pair of clothes, but I guess I could
bought
go
some
for
more.
fun.
She brings
You
out
just get a gift.
your outfit. And I
And it's
imagine
rather careless to ignore it.
your outfit is of brown leather with golden rings. Just gaudy and pirate themed. Maybe some like fishing net going on.
It's like full-on pirate cultural appropriation. Like,
Yeah.
it's the most pirate outfit. It could have like
I
logos
also
on
did
it.
the hat. She'll bring out the hat.
So, if you missed that, Will, Ive has written a letter to the Shadow Swords, like showing our disgust on how we've been treated, and they want too much of our money, and that we're not coming back, and we want to get into the least trustworthy hands as possible. So I think the plan
you
is
set
for
up
me to
breakup text.
me to go to the tailor's and for it to drop out and him to see it.
Okay, cool. All right then. So you head to the tailor of Wizzle Spitebringer, who opens up his little tailoring shop. Hello. Oh, sorry. There is a lot of whorehouses down the end of the road, and all sorts of roustabouts and villains are. You'll fit right in.
I've got a problem with my trousers. I'd like some new trousers.
Oh, you have a problem with your trousers, my friend. You've got a problem with all of this. But we deal in coin here.
I have coin. I imagine I clumsily pull out like a coin purse absolutely loaded with gold because I don't know what to do with all this money that I've just been given. Is this enough? I don't really buy clothes.
He takes a look at it. Yes, that's about enough. Come inside, come inside. And he, he starts to like wring his hands in, sort of like constantly washing his hands when he speaks to you, falling over himself now that, you've just handed him a ridiculous amount of gold. So what was it that you were looking for? Trousers, of course. gentlemen like yourself will need a cloak, would they not? Vicious, grand.
I mean, trousers. I think these ones are. They make me stand funny, and I've had a bit of a problem with my leg. Is there any way to get some kind of boning or something in the leg?
Oh, absolutely. Boning in the leg is one of my specialities. Actually, yes.
That was a bad choice of words.
I think it was the perfect choice for it to be there.
Was a distraction because Ive has no social skills.
He's walked into a tailor and said, "Can I get boning in my legs, please?"
So, do you need to measure these ones? And he just starts to unbuckle
Sorry,
his
is Darcy... he just gets naked. Is Darcy here?
Darcy, I imagine, is outside and she's got Geiger, who has been briefed.
Okay. You just let this madman walk inside. Okay, that's good. So
he goes in, he starts getting the trousers sorted out, and then maybe there's a distraction, and oops, we leave the trousers behind with the letter in. I think that was roughly the plan.
This is genius. Ive, you start. Yes, sure. Just take them off. Why not? There's a changing. No, okay. Just right there.
When
fine.
he turns around and says that, they're already at the...
Yeah, he just like changes it from the shops sign from "We're open" to "Sorry, we're closed." No one else.
As he's doing this, as he's doing that, Geiger's gonna bowl through the door and open it up, and Ivo, really? Come on, how here? Really,
Mr. Grimehart?
I look this guy up and down. I'm like, you do adequate work. Perhaps I'll be returning here later. Ivo, please. And throw him one more wink. And
I've like, this wasn't exactly what the plan was, but he's stuck in the moment, so he just bolts out of the shop without any trousers on. Like,
yeah, put some pants on.
I'll be back to pick them up, and bolts out the door.
Wesel, I'll wash. As Geiger and I leave, how long do you wait before you you go back to pick up your trousers?
I imagine they make me wait longer than is necessary just because I'm awkwardly shuffling around the place with no trousers on.
You just got given a new...
Okay, yeah, I wear these gaudy ring trousers that make me sound like I'm heavily pierced as I walk around.
This is the pirate appropriation.
Yeah.
Golazal's like, Ive, you can't just walk around like that. You didn't earn that costume. That's a cultural marker of the Corsairs. You can't do that, Ive.
I have no
take your gift back.
He
hands him the golden testicle.
Like the sadness is in his face as he gets this testicle back. It's monogrammed. I can't take that back.
I don't care. You've hurt my feelings, Ive.
Ive sits in a crate in his terrible pirate trousers, just rolling this gilded testicle in his hand, wondering what he did wrong.
How did we get here from?
He just Golazal wasn't even paying attention when he got the gift. Like he forgot.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'll go back and get my trousers. I'm sorry. And then I knock back on the door of the tailor's. Listen, I need my trousers back, please.
He peers it open. Oh, it's you again, Mr. Grimhart's man. Yes, come in. Is Mr. Grimhart around? Did he come by as well? Of course not. Silly to think I could ever be happy. Yeah, coming in. Why don't you just... here are your trousers. I've washed them. And I'll admit that I burned them. And then I just got you a new pair instead.
There's an important piece of communique in the pocket.
Oh, yes, that fell out. I made sure to go through your pockets thoroughly.
You didn't read it, did you?
Of course not. It just opened on itself when I opened up these trousers, you see.
People would pay money for that information. I need you to keep that secret.
Oh, trust me. If my name isn't Wessel Spiderfinger, I am a man of my word. And he hands you back the trousers and the letter.
These are the new ones. And he'll quickly put them on. Look, you can keep these ones. They've brought me nothing but despair. And he throws back the pirate trousers and leaves.
Darling, you were wearing these? No.
They were a gift.
Were they? He looks at your golden testicles.
Don't judge me. And then I'll leave.
Say hello to Mr. Grimheart for me.
So, listen, the plan is underway. We have... He's definitely seen it, and he knows it's valuable information. What now?
Well, now, boy, we wait
You go
and
ahead.
party. Or party and wait. It doesn't matter.
Perhaps we could begin our partying with a bit of gambling.
That is definitely one form of partying. That's all covered in Roustabout Activities, Chapter 7, Part of the Kill.
What should we play?
I heard about a place. And she'll look at Dozel and see if he remembers that she'd explained the whole amulet story. And this is what she's angling towards.
Right. Yeah. I've heard of that as well. And yes, we should go there. Quickly.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, swing your way over to the House of Exquisite Pleasures, which is a gambling den / pleasure house. You do, however, also know that it's owned by the Fellhand House. So it is, while not enemy territory, you're going into the casino of your enemies, basically, who own this place. The owner of this establishment, who seems to be the one that you speak to get into one of the many gambling games in this various dens around this location. It's sort of like an underground club. It's totally legal, but everyone's gambling slaves, their own bodies, gold, amongst other things, down here. The owner of the establishment is a stark-looking dark elf named Vunulgath. Who just by you guys having a walk around the establishment, asking anyone is the person that keeps everyone honest in terms of the bets that they make. So he is the house, and the house always wins because there are a whole lot of guards around here as well that make sure that, if you are about to renege on your deal, then, you're not going to get away with it. So he stands at the sort of center of the bar where basically you go and cash in chips, etc., or try and enter stakes for tables, etc.
Wherever there's a large group of impressionable young people, that's where goals all will be.
Okay. There are certainly young people who gamble in Volgath's sort of den. Yeah, so you can see yourself at a table of like young corsairs or something like that who have like a bit of money to spend.
Yeah, young corsairs. Maybe there's even some, some of the crew, the rest of the crew from the Black Ark. Someone who understands the life of the sea and understands its siren call, and we can trade stories with. But Golazal is also looking to be the center of attention and if need be, a distraction so that the rest of his more subtle crew can do their business.
Okay.
Darcy,
So you're set at another table.
So he's loud, boisterous, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Darcy, for her part, I imagine has changed into a more traditional female dark elf outfit. Needless to say, lots of leather, lots of skin. And she is basically going to play card counter. She's going to be Lady Luck to one of the 2 or 3 gamblers and just go around our party and kind of help make sure that we're winning when we need to win with her high intelligence score.
Okay.
Yeah, and Geiger will go ahead and change into the outfit that Darcy got him with all the spikes and nipples on prominent display.
Obviously.
Situate his weapons where they should be. Make sure everything's bulging properly, and he'll sit down at one of the games of chance, something akin to like 21, just a simple card game, and just start gambling and looking around and drinking and telling stories of the most recent voyage and seeing who will listen to his grievances against his former house.
All right. Okay. And Ive, is Ive doing anything?
Ive will be kind of slowly looking around. He'll be trying to work out how each game is rigged and which one maybe he can kind of win on by either beating how it's rigged or just kind of playing the best odds.
Sweet.
But he's kind of obviously doing it where he's saying numbers in his head and he's kind of saying and like, okay, the dealer then does 6. He should do 12. And so if any of them paid any attention, it's pretty obvious that he's tried to work his way around or maybe counting the odd card as well. So he's not subtle with it.
Okay. So as you guys settle into the house and start spending a couple of hours here, you start to get to know some of the movers and shakers in the house itself. Primarily, the person who seems to be running this house in terms of winning all of the high-stakes games is a dark elf by the name of Fetin. It's the only name that he gives, and I'll spell it here. He, around his neck, and he has sort of dark circles under his eyes. He's always smoking a very long Cruella de Vil-style cigarette. And he wears around his neck a glowing red amulet of Cain. And upon his fingers there are golden rings, and his teeth are like diamonds enamel plated to give him a really sort of extra shiny grin. And he is the sort of height of decadence and indulgence within this place. You obviously have to pay a fair amount of money to get to Fetin's table, but any of the small-time tables that you guys have been at and playing at, doing fairly successfully at, are afraid of him. And they don't play at his tables for a reason.
I think Darcy, seeing the amulet, is actually going to try and buy into his table. She's going to move on up. And she's going to know pretty much whatever's in her bag that she's about to hand over is going to be lost. But it's kind of an opportunity to get in and then give one of the others an in.
Okay.
And she'll take off. She's been wearing this like satin black cloak. And she'll take it off. And her back, you see there's piercings either side of her spine that have been ribboned up to a nice little bow. And she's just basically showing off at this point to get attention to her and try and play. I'm here to play high stakes, and I obviously don't care if I lose.
Yeah, he watches you as you take a seat. Ah, we got a new high roller here, huh?
Why, yes. Why don't you deal me in?
All right. What about the rest of the party? Does anyone follow Darcy, or are you letting her do her thing?
If Geiger will walk over and just kind of be in the background, almost just kind of like just like kind of her man on the side that just watches out, and he'll just kind of adopt a guarding stance.
Okay. Is there like you said, he's very like ostentatiously dressed, like really blinged out, and like is it like a case of like there's other people fawning over him and trying to get his attention, or is he trying to keep a low profile even without it, even though he's got all his gold?
He doesn't seem to be afraid of anyone knowing who he is or that he's here. He's got several sort of bodyguards around him. He's maybe not a noble, but certainly someone that's like rich and powerful enough to have some status within the city. Yeah, and there are onlookers. There's like a small crowd that gather to watch Fettin at any time, so it's easy enough to slip into that crowd like Geiger is right now. Okay.
I think maybe Golazal's still waiting to see if there's a moment that he could distract him, or perhaps even annoy him, so that he might become flustered or slip up.
Right. Yeah. So he
just gets louder. Right. Yeah. Just
I will buy in as well. I think he thinks he's intellectually superior to the rest of the group, so I think he thinks it's on him to be able to just out-cunning this guy and win it.
Okay. Then everybody. So Darcy and Ive both roll me gamble rolls. So 1 degree of failure for Darcy and 6 for Ive. So your first hands do not go well, and Fettin wins by a narrow margin as he kind of like scoops up his first hands of winnings, and is like, "So, you two are new in town, huh?"
Yes, recently returned.
Interesting. Where have you guys come from?
Well, I don't know where he is from. And she's gonna look disgusted at Ive, just disgusted.
Not so much new. We've been on the Black Ark. Certainly I have. Doing things of value rather than sitting in games of chance for a living. And he kind of gives a smarmy smile like he's battled with and won.
Well, if we, I mean, sorry, just you, have been on this Black Ark, then I suppose you got plenty of ways to lose money. So I'm more than happy to oblige.
Money's pretty much nothing to me, and I'll stick in a bet nonchalantly. It's not much to me. It's what you live for.
Suppose so. Why don't we raise the stakes then? Something more than gold, maybe that's something you want to play for. And he takes off the amulet. I mean, something like this, pretty little item. And he sort of like very easily hands it and pushes it into the center pile of the table. Maybe we could play for that.
It's a little gaudy.
How much
know
is that
if
worth?
you ever visited a friend of mine, Wessel Spitebringer? He does all sorts of clothing, stuff like this, in fact. Real classy.
Clearly. Well,
But what is it that you're going to offer me? I mean, in exchange, you got to raise the stakes as well, right?
I've lounged down a little cube box on the table.
He opens up the little golden nuggets within. Views their bounty. He like takes a look at it. Is this engraved?
Monogrammed.
Why does it say JC? Always in my heart.
It stands for you're gonna get these nuts.
He pushed it back across the table. I don't think I want these. I don't think anyone wants these. I'm not sure
Geiger
they should
speaks up
exist.
like, do you have any idea who those belong to? On the recent reeve, this man right here, I saw him cut the nuts off of the High Elven Admiral, who had slain many of our kin. And the look on his face when he saw all future of his line fall to the ground. I will feast on that for many days. Not just any nuts.
Well, that's something, I suppose. But you know what's even sweeter than these nuts? You know what's even... You know what's even... You know what's even sweeter than these nuts? Is information. You see, you guys, I know who you are. Or at least where you've come from. And it's this black ark that this guy keeps chatting about. Now, I don't care about how many nuts you got out on the black ark, and frankly, I don't care. What happens on the black ark stays on the black ark, as the old saying goes. But word has it that you guys are no longer in favor with the shade arrows. Strikes me as a bunch of houseless mercenaries might be willing to gamble some information, seeing as it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Information like how to get inside House Shade Arrow. Troop numbers,
They have a
that kind
wonderful
of stuff.
front door.
Like, I've all snapped really good. Done. That means nothing to me anymore.
Alright. Do you know what? Because I'm feeling spicy, we'll throw in the nuts too.
Well, don't you mean you're feeling salty?
I meant what I meant. And he goes, he gets out a little pouch of spice, I don't know. Dusts them with it.
Pops them in his mouth like a truffle.
Like he's a chef. Just... okay, let's have another gambling roll, ladies and gentlemen. He rolled badly.
How is that badly?
He rolled a 93.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
not
pretty
12,
badly.
93.
Oh, yeah.
18.
Nice.
It's dead on.
All right. So basically, we'll say that you guys are 1-1, right? So you've like he won the first hand and won some stuff. You won the second hand and won some stuff. Third hand takes it all. So whoever rolls lowest basically takes the pot in whatever game of chance that you guys are playing. So I have one last roll, as we're going to see who gets the nugs and everything else. You're on a 76. Need to roll less than 72, Ive. Somehow
48.
he takes it. So Ive, you win the amulets, you win a bunch of gold, and you win your nugs back. And Fedon sort of curses and spits on the ground. Fuck no.
I will put down Geiger's book onto the table and push it towards him and go, you're suddenly easier to read than this book. And then he'll pick up his winnings.
Ooh.
Thanks for playing. And he'll walk away.
Wait! And he kind of like raises a finger. Before you go. You guys have beat me. You're good. I get it. I can respect someone who can beat me in my own game. Especially on my own turf. So, if you are looking for work, looking to exchange some information, then I'll pay you in whatever it is you want, and I'll get it to you.
Why is
By
it
the way,
that you want to the Shade Arrow's house so bad?
that's none of your business, sweetheart. Now is it?
Well, you know what they say, a mutual enemy makes us friends.
Well, if we're friends, we should go talk in my back room.
Oh, darling, I've seen your back room.
He looks nervously behind him. And then down. He's like, all of yous. And he looks over towards Geiger and Golazol as well.
Ooh. Now,
And the bodyguards put hands on swords as he suggests that you come and speak with him.
he's asking for all of us to come speak with him in his back room?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps it's worth a confidential conversation about it.
Yeah, these walls have ears. Let's get some alone time.
Yes, and Golazal at least will turn back to the table he was at. He'd left it earlier because this was a riveting game, and we'll make a big show of, sort of who he's walking off with and a big farewell.
Right.
Sweet
I look
escape.
very impressed with you. As you guys are walking into the back room, flanked by these sort of bodyguards, he says, Wessel guy spread it all around. I want to be careful. I mean, he told me as well that you guys were coming for the amulet. Can't be trusted, that guy.
No, it seems like we can't. Perhaps we'll pay him another visit then. See
I'd
what
very
he
much
has
like to be
affected.
there.
I think there's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. So, what news then?
Yeah, as you
Wish to
guys
discuss.
enter the back room, he brings wine, drink, whatever it is you want, caviar, like the most expensive exotic fruits from Furthest Cafe, and he says, so, you guys are new back in the city after a long time. You've just gotten yourselves into a fight with the Shade Arrows, and you need someone who can connect you with the people that you need to be connected with. Am I right?
Essentially, yes. Their fallen grandeur has caused an obsession. We wish to no longer be associated with them.
All right. Well, here's what you want to know. I'm the guy. I'm everyone's guy. So, whatever it is you need, I'm the guy for the job. And things work best if we don't tell each other too much about why it is you need the things that you need. I prefer that people don't come knocking on my door trying to kill me. If they got me into a position that was compromising, I prefer not to know anything. That way, people don't come knocking so much. So you tell me what it is you need, I don't ask any questions, and I take my cut. Suffice it to say, however, that there are powers within the city which go beyond even me. When it comes to the Black God, the Witch King, and any of his court, that's where things start to get dangerous, and I prefer not to deal. However, when it comes to any of the minor houses, that's fair game. The Witch King is benevolent in such ways. The only things off the table are those that I mentioned.
Yes. Well then, and then we'll look to some of our more savvy crew members. We're here because we wish to draw closer to the Fellhand house.
Small move, a lot of people do these days.
There is a energy to them I like, and so we're hoping that Sivan, we could perhaps make his acquaintance more officially then.
Sure. I can get you a meeting with Seven Fellhand. No problem. As I say to all of my clients, once these things are in effect, they're out of my hands. So don't come knocking if things go badly. I set up the meetings, I get you whatever it is you need, and then we're done until the next time you need something. Are we understanding each other here?
Of course.
Very well. When the time is right, I'll be in touch with the location and time to meet Seven Fellhand. The rest is up to you. Oh, and you can give that amulet. You can give that amulet back to Wessel for me. With a swift punch to the guts as well.
Of course.
Just don't break him too much. He's mine.
Well, everyone needs a useful idiot now and then. And Golzal turn back to the rest of his crew and sort of see if there's anything they're trying to tell him or anything. Mm-hmm. Any subtle
anything else you guys
signs.
Want to mention?
Darcy just sat there very quietly, kind of fingers steepled, just listening, just poker face on.
We're probably going to need some lodgings somewhat safe out of the reach of shadow arrows. We don't want them seeing us in case they make a move.
Sure. I can get you a place where you can lay low. It's close enough to everywhere else in the city where you can get fast enough, but not too close to anywhere to draw too much suspicion. It's the basement level of a pleasure house.
Save on travel.
Perfect.
It's very economic.
Yes.
All right.
Especially after what you said about the Lady Shade Arrow. We do need to get out of the public eye.
True enough. I wouldn't want to be one who crossed her. All right. Well, here's the address. He kind of scribbles it down on a piece of paper, hands it over towards you. Says, "I'll expect payment within 24 hours." With a lump sum of gold, which is like an inordinate amount of gold, but what you're asking for is not an easy thing to manage. And, all right. Well, it's been a pleasure playing with you all and doing business with you as well.
Likewise. And I think it's time, I don't know, we get out of this den of vipers.
Yes.
Very good. And I think at that point then, as you strike a deal with Fetin, your new go-to fixer, that's all in tonight's session of Warhammer Spite of the Witch King, as you guys have already gotten yourselves up to a bunch of no good. There's been nuggets, there's been outfits, there's been double dealings and assassinations, and I cannot wait for the next episode, because oh boy, if it's anything like this one, we're gonna be in some trouble next time. Like I said, this we're going to end it tonight, but we've got another show starting in just a few minutes' time. It's episode 1 of Tales from the Loop RPG show called Little Busters here on the channel. So stick around. It's a fantastic show. Really one of my favorite here on the channel. Wednesday's just an awesome day to be here. So stick around. There's going to be a fantastic game coming up in just a few minutes' time. Another big thank you goes to our sponsors, Fantasy Grounds, Wayland Games, and Tabletop Loot for providing all of the sponsorship and support for the show. If you enjoyed tonight's game, of course, if you haven't followed the follow button, You know what I meant. Hit the follow button. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can join us live on twitch.tv/Encounter Roleplay every Wednesday at 5 o'clock for more Warhammer Spike the Witch King. And we can't wait to read some of your guys' comments and see what you guys thought tonight's game. But let's go around the cast and the crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find any wonderful people online? Let's start with Jim Davis. Jim fucking Davis, son. How's that?
Oh yes, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. As maybe some of our viewers would know, this is my first time actually getting to play Warhammer, so I'm really enjoying it. Great first session, lots of highlights. I really enjoy the intrigue and sort of like you can't really trust any of these people, and yet what are you gonna do? You just it's not like you can just walk into the Chaos Wastes and live a life by yourself or anything. So, anyway,
sounds like next campaign.
Exactly right. So I'm enjoying playing Corsair, a bit flamboyant sort of pirate type. I am one half of WebDM, Jim Davis. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, all kinds of places where we offer RPG advice and inspiration videos, podcasts, and the like. So check us out. And yeah, great game. Can't wait for next week.
Thanks so much. Awesome. And Charlie, what about yourself? How was that tonight?
I had so much fun to be back here in the blood and the mud and the sweat and the saltiness that is Warhammer with this crew. I love everyone here. I love playing, and shout out to chat who have been awesome all through the game and all through the other seasons as well. Can't wait to drag the Chaos Chorus kicking and screaming along the rest of the adventure. Yeah, I am very excited. I would normally never play an elf, but I am down for this dark elf business. It's a dark alley I am willing to wander for you, Will Jones.
Thank you.
I'm at Frost from Fire on the Twitters, and yeah, I am here on Mondays playing some other Warhammer too, playing some 40k with the Mutants and Mastermind systems. And I'm the Inquisitor,
Yes.
so I seek out heresy in that game.
Perform it in one, stick it out in the other. Yeah. 40,000 years in the future. Awesome. Fantastic. Pruitt! How was that tonight, my friend? Oh. Pruitt's frozen in time. Oh, shit. No, Nayori's back. Thank God we don't have to go to Gareth. Pruitt.
Yeah, my backup laptop that is being used for the road is not happy, so I'm gonna have to borrow my friend Travis's for next game. So anyway, that was freaking awesome. Yeah, crazy dark elf shenanigans. I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait for next week and to see the. I mean, if we have to top Gilded Testicles in episode 2, that's a pretty high bar to have to breach. So anyway, I'm Pruitt, the other half of WebDM. You know, like Jim said, we got our videos on the places. We also have some games on Twitch. We're off this week for our shoot, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central. Check us out for some Spelljammer-inspired and Dark Sun-inspired shenanigans.
Don't worry,
Amazing
Pruitt, we've
fun.
still got my box.
Oh man,
Ooh.
you better think long and hard
well.
before opening that box.
Speaking of long and hard, Gareth, how was tonight's episode? What the hell
Wait,
was
does that count as you being kind? Was that nice? That was like a positive thing. I will take that all fucking day. You sound like the opposite of my doctor. Anyway,
I bet you will. Yeah.
I was Gusto. I'm Suddenly Pandas. I don't do anything else. This is pretty much the place you'll see me. So if you're unfortunate enough to stumble across me, thank you very much. It's so nice to be invited back with these fucking guys. They were saying how long it had been, and it was so nice to just fucking get back in it and start the bullshit and have so much fucking fun again. I got a massive smile on my face. I've stayed up later than I should, and it's so much fun. Also, guys, fucking Will has absolutely knocked it out of the park this season. Look at the fucking enormity of his shows. There's so many fucking. I don't know how he's gonna live. I think in like 6 months' time, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be. He's gonna look like just me, basically. So watch his slow decline while I eat popcorn. But check out some of the other shows. There's like so many amazing people. Like every single day has a highlight. Every single day has people on that I'm excited to see. So subscribe, look after it. Like join the Discord, chat about all the shows. Fucking enjoy the Patreon, WebDM, Charlie. Just love everyone.
Do it all. Peace and love, yo. And thanks to Mal, donates £12. I know it's late. Here's 4 crits for next week. Thanks so much, my friend. Greatly, greatly appreciate the donation. And these guys are going to need it because, boy, next week things are going to kick off a little bit more. I mean, we almost go play it straight away today. In a flashback, we almost go to Gareth. God, I tried. But we're going to have to see if they can pull it off next week. Well, as mentioned, we've got a fantastic next show coming. Episode 1 of Little Busters going to start. As we go out, you're going to be joined by your new host for the afternoon, the evening, Nomadic. So go say hi, go spread some love, go spread the joy of a kind of roleplay. I have a tweet already set up for the next show. Actually, we'll go retweet that. But until next time, my friends, try not to roll too many nat ones. We're going to be there laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.